Hello, welcome to our seminar. We're glad you're here and hope you learn the information you're after, and it's understanding transition from early start to preschool. My name is Paula Miller. I am the Early Start Transition Coordinator I work for WACSEP.
I'm Lana Lopez, and I'm the Early Start Service Coordinator from Eastern Los Angeles Regional Center.
Today, we're going to discuss the process of moving your child from early start services to school age services. We'll talk a little bit about Whittier Area Cooperative Special Education Program, which is WACSEP. It's the SELPA, and it provides resources and services to its member districts. And those districts include East Whittier, El Rancho, Little Lake, Los Nietos, South Whittier, Whittier City, and the Whittier Union High School District. I also want to mention the Individuals with Disabilities Act, which is the IDEA. This is the law that governs how districts and educational agencies provide special education services to kids throughout the nation. And it covers ages from 3 all the way to age 21. Infants and toddlers with disabilities, birth through 3rd birthday, their families receive early start intervention services under Part C. And children and youth ages 3 to 21 receive education and related services under Part B. The purpose of the IDEA is to ensure that all children with disabilities have access to a free and appropriate public education, that it emphasizes special education and related services designed to meet their unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living.
So what is transition? For children who receive early start services, transition is the process of moving from early start to school-based and or community-based services when they turn 3. And this is your first of many transitions. The Regional Center has roles and responsibilities during the transition process. The Early Start program will provide services from birth to 3 years of age. The process of transitioning out of Early Start program services can start as early as 2 years and 3 months, but no later than 2 years and 9 months. Typically, we would have this meeting around 2 years and 8 months. The service coordinator will schedule the individualized family service plan / transition meeting with the family and the school district representative. Other responsibilities include addressing the parents' concerns and priorities as it is related to transitioning to the school district. Say, as a parent, you have concerns about eligibility. Will my child qualify? Will they not? And what does that mean? Or maybe you have concerns about services and where they will be once school has initiated those services. Maybe you are concerned about transitioning to the school and are not interested. We just want you to know that all of our services are optional, and we are here to provide you with as much information as possible so that you can make the best decision for your child and your family. Other responsibilities include notification and referral with parent consent. That referral is sent to the school district 90 days before the child's 3rd birthday. The Regional Center will also conduct a psychological evaluation to determine continued eligibility for Regional Center services. This is something that is separate from the school district. Eligibility criteria for the Regional Center is different from the school district, and here's why. Continued Regional Center eligibility, age 3 and up. The psychological evaluation will determine if your child is eligible to continue. And in order to be eligible, an individual must have a developmental disability for Regional Center services after 3 years of age, as defined by the Lanterman Act. Developmental disabilities include the following diagnosis of autism, cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, epilepsy, or other conditions closely related to intellectual disability or requiring similar treatment. If your child is found eligible to continue with the Regional Center after 3, An exit IFSP meeting will be scheduled to determine what services your child would need from the regional center for the next year. If your child is not eligible, your service coordinator will contact you to discuss recommendations and plans to complete the transition process. Your child's case will be closed at the age of 3, and you will receive a written notice. There are differences between early start and school-based services. So on early start, we provide services from birth to the 3rd birthday. To be eligible for early start, children must have delays in communication, motor, cognition, social, emotional, or adaptive skills. The focus of the services during this time period is on the family and the child.
And school-based services are different as that they are from age 3 to 22. There's 13 specific eligibility categories for conditions that impact a child's education, which we'll talk about those in a little bit. And the focus is on service is on the child.
For early start, we have an individualized family service plan, the IFSP, the meeting that we conduct every 6 months. The location of our services are in the natural environment unless otherwise noted by schedule or what have you, and that's typically in the home. Our service delivery is multi-agency, and the goal of our program is to support families to support their children.
Yes, and for school-based services, it's an individualized education program, and that is it's reviewed yearly, unless sometimes it's done earlier if somebody requested. The location of services are the least restrictive environment in a school setting. The service delivery is an educational agency, which is the school district, and it's within school hours during normal calendar year. The goal of the program is to support a child's access to preschool curriculum and the preschool environment.
So an overview of the transition process. A transition IFSP is held with the regional center and the school district between the age of 2 years and 3 months and 2 years and 9 months. Typically, it will be between around the 2 years and 8 month mark. A referral is made by the regional center with parent consent no later than 90 days before the child's 3rd birthday. The early start assessments and closing reports shared with the school district with parents' consent. So all those progress reports and everything that have already been completed with the service providers will be shared with the school district with parent consent. The school district assessment take place before the 3rd birthday, and the initial IEP meeting is also held before the 3rd birthday. During the transition IFSP, the following areas are discussed. Early start services, what's currently being provided, parent concerns, the child's current development, and assessment process and referral to the preschool assessment team.
So for the preschool initial assessment team, which we call PIAT, that's done by WACSEP, and it's done on behalf of the 6 elementary school districts. It completes initial assessments for special education for preschool age students. They're located at 4 different satellite sites, and families are referred to this corresponding team based on their elementary school district of residence. So these are a list of the 4 different teams. There's East Whittier, it has its own team. El Rancho has its own team. Then there's the 3 small school districts, which is Little Lake, Los Nietos, and South Whittier. All 3 of those districts are, they have one assessment team that handles them. And they're actually housed in South Whittier, but they serve all 3 districts. And then there's Whittier City School District as well. So a word about procedural safeguards, parents' rights. During the assessment process, you will be given a copy of your parents' rights. And it's important if you have time to look at that or at least skim it or review it before the assessment if possible. Some things I just want to point out that are helpful, but it's here included but not limited to is the school district cannot assess your child without written consent. No special education services can be implemented without your written consent. and you're able to bring other people to the IEP with you if you choose. Some parents like to invite their early start service coordinator or anyone else if you choose to. So the assessment process. So what will happen is the WOCSEP PIAT staff, it's typically the department secretary, she'll schedule the assessment with you. You're going to consent to the assessment in writing. The assessments are going to be based on all areas of suspected disabilities. One of the ways they do that, they determine what those areas are, is they look at all the reports and progress summaries and stuff from that from the regional center that was sent over it. That's one of the ways they determine, and also what are their current services from regional center. So reports from service providers are reviewed as part of the assessment. We would like you to be prepared to discuss your child's strengths and weaknesses. You'll be requested to complete several intake documents, and you'll be asked to register your child with your school district of residence once the assessment plan is signed. The assessment process. The IEP team must complete the assessment by your child's 3rd birthday. Each specialist will complete their portion of the assessment. For example, you may have a speech pathologist and a school psychologist or an OT or a PT or whoever as part of your team, and they would each do their own assessment. Or they'll sometimes they do them together, but they're responsible for their own portion. The tests are conducted based on what Lana had already described, on information from the early start providers, the observation, the rating scales that you will turn in, one-to-one testing, and other types or combination of tests. There will be a written report of findings, and the findings will be presented at your child's IEP. So for the actual assessment, you can expect to spend 1 to 2 hours. Bring a snack, a diaper bag, some of your child's favorite items. Have child rested and ready if possible. Don't worry if your child doesn't cooperate. These teams, all they do is evaluate kids that are 2.5 to 5 years old. They're used to kids who are not cooperating, so that doesn't faze them at all. So don't worry about that. But do reschedule if your child is sick, and also let the assessment team know if your child performs differently at home. If you know they can do something, but they're just not doing it for the assessors, please mention that. Bring any specialized equipment, i.e. hearing aids, glasses, etc., to the assessment. Then we're going to talk about, after the assessment is finished, you will have your initial IEP, an individual education plan or program. It's a written document, and it's for a child with exceptional needs, and it's developed and reviewed at the actual IEP. It contains an offer of FAPE, which is the free appropriate public education, and it's an IEP. It's a legal document. At the meeting, the WOCSEP PIA team they'll schedule the IEP meeting with you. It'll take place at a school site. It'll consist of at least you and whoever you invite, if you choose to bring someone, members of the assessment team, and an administrator or administrator designee. There will be a written report of the findings presented based on the assessment and records review. The IEP team meeting will determine eligibility and make an offer of FAPE. You'll get a copy of the IEP at the end of the meeting. Okay, the IEP process is this, that an assessment takes place, and then they determine eligibility. And after eligibility is determined, they would determine there's a determination of unique needs. And then based on those needs, which is like areas of, where they need some help, they'll write goals based on those areas. And then that based on the goals that they write, they'll talk about the services that are available to address those goals. And then after they determine service, they'll talk about placement of where those services can be met. So there is something different from regional centers, that the school districts do not diagnose kids with anything, but there is 13 eligibility categories that will get kids special education services. Some of those categories are intellectual disability, speech or language impairment, visual impairment, emotional disturbance, orthopedic impairment, other health impairment, specific learning disability, hard of hearing, deaf blindness, deaf, multiple disabilities, autism, or traumatic brain injury. It is the IEP team's responsibility to determine if your child has a disability, and if they have more than one, disability, the IEP team must determine the primary disability. So let's talk about under the special education eligibility, a primary eligibility category is determined, and sometimes the secondary eligibility categories are also determined. For example, say your child has a vision impairment, and so they may make that vision impairment as his primary eligibility because that impacts him the most, impacts his life and his ability to access school the most. But then say he also has difficulties with his speech and language. So sometimes they'll make vision impairment his first or primary eligibility, and they'll make speech and language impairment as a secondary eligibility. It's just noting that your child has more things going on than one thing, and they just want to make sure that that's covered. If your child is not found eligible in one of the disability categories, then no special education goals or services will be offered. It's called DNQ, does not qualify. The goals and services, the IEP goals, we talked about these, they'll only be written for the areas of educational need, not for all aspects of a student's education. And based on the goals, appropriate educational services will be recommended to achieve the goals. The offer of FAPE. The offer of FAPE is made to ensure that all children with disabilities have access to a free, appropriate public education that emphasizes special education and related services designed to meet their unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, and independent living. The offer of FAPE, basically what it is it's talking about what kind of services, what time, how much, where they'll take place. All of that is really what the offer of FAPE is, and it should be clearly defined by the assessment team in your IEP document. Some things to note: school services do not begin until you consent to all or part of the IEP in writing, and you can review the IEP for providing consent. Like at the meeting, you can say, I want to take it home and look at it, review it, and then get back to the team and then provide your consent or not. And then school services will not begin until your child turns 3. Parent tips for the IEP meeting. When I say you're a member of the IEP team, plan ahead and put your thoughts down on paper so you won't forget to mention what's important to you during the meeting. A couple notes about that is it's really important for you, if you can, to think about questions that you have and just start writing them down, whether in your phone or on a paper. As you think about them, as you're getting ready for this, just because sometimes in the moment of the IEP, you forget, and then you walk out and go, oh, I wanted to ask about that. So just write your stuff down before you get there. And that would be very helpful for the team. Don't be afraid to ask questions or to get clarification. If they're talking and you feel like, wow, that's something I don't understand, just please stop and ask questions. Expect to spend about 1 to 2 hours at the meeting. And the IEP goes with your child if you move. Keep it accessible. So you are going to leave the meeting with a document. They'll have all the assessment reports and the IEP document. Keep that handy somewhere, because in case you do move either to a different district or even another county in the state or out of state, the federal government provides for that any school district in the country must honor an IEP. So what you do is, if you do move, you bring that document and present it to your local home school district or your new school district and say, I want to register my child. They'll look at the IEP and they must provide you with a comparable service, something that was similar to what's written in the IEP. So definitely keep that handy just in case. Note on creating effective family and school relationships. Become educated in the IEP process. Establish a relationship with your child's special education team. Be a collaborator. Keep lines of communication open and practice flexibility. At this point, I like to say that it's really important that we acknowledge that this process, this transition can be very scary for parents. the thought of sending your kid from early start services where they're often meeting in your home or to suddenly then sending them to school somewhere, it can be it's scary to think about. We want you to know that all the service providers, they're very aware of that it's difficult, maybe difficult for you, and it may be difficult for your child to make that transition. So we really encourage you to keep the lines of communication open, discuss things with your child's teacher or their service provider about how you're feeling about these things, and just know that we do understand that it can be a big deal to move from early start to school-based services. We're very aware of that, and just try and work on building a relationship with your child's educational team.
So as we come close to the end of this presentation, I wanted to share with you one of the handouts that we often provide to our family members. This handout is also provided in addition to something that we call a transition handbook. And the handbook is more information to help guide you through the process. Maybe you thought of questions after your transition meeting with your coordinator and the school district. That handbook may be a guide for you, or a place to look to see who you need to ask that particular question to. You can always refer back to myself or your service coordinator or the school district liaison. But this particular form is to just show you the timeline. IFSPs, if your child has been with us prior to the age of 2, they happen every 6 months. And during the IFSP, your service coordinator discusses with you the transition process. We explain how you will be transitioning out of early start services by the age of 3, because our program it ends at the age of 3. We obtain your consent to exchange information with the school district. We talk about how this meeting will be coordinated and where it will take place. Between the 2-year 3 months and the 2-year 9-month mark, anytime between that age group, you're going to have this meeting that is coordinated by the service coordinator with the school district. And the meeting may take place at your home. It may take place at the school district office. It may take place at the regional center. Really depends on the arrangement that you're making with your service coordinator and the district liaison. The evaluations for regional center, they will conduct that psychological evaluation. As I've stated, that's something that is separate from the school district. There will be a constant exchange of information between the regional center and the school district for any progress reports, current progress reports. They want to have a clear picture of what your child looks like. The school district will conduct their own evaluations, and those progress reports are utilized for that. What to expect at the age of 3, your school district is going to schedule the IEP before the 3rd birthday, so you have a clear understanding of what services, if any, your children will be accessing through the school district. And our early start services will discontinue at 3. You will be informed if your child is found eligible based off of the psychological evaluation that you have with the regional center.
Okay. So if you have any questions at all regarding the transition process for your child, or anything in this PowerPoint or this presentation at all, please feel free to email either of us. There we are. I'm at that pmiller@walksup.org.
I'm down there, llopez@elarc.org.
Yes, and the next slide is going to be our resources that we use, things that you may want to look up for further information. You can look up any of these things and pursue anything, or feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. And thank you so much for watching, and we hope we answered some of your questions. And that's it. Talk to you, or we'll see you later. Bye-bye.